I shot that intro like 2 days ago and I have been watching it a bunch. Like the music kicks in and then just like, dun, 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 and then, oh, it gets me fired up. Anyway guys, enough about the intro. Welcome back to another video. Today we're trying something a little bit different. We are talking all about one of the lenses that I have owned for a long while now, but I've never really dived into using until recently. And ooh, is it a beast of a lens, and ooh, did I forget to bring it over here. I will be right back. So this is the Sony 85mm f1.4. Now right off the bat, if you are not a Sony shooter and you shoot Canon or Fuji or Nikon or any of the other brands, or even if you are a Sony shooter and you look at this lens and you think it's way too pricey for you, don't feel like you have to leave. The majority of stuff I want to talk about in this video applies to the majority of 85mm lenses on the market, and boy are there a lot. Like a lot. Here's a quick rundown of the ones I found from one quick Google search. Sony 85mm f1.8, Canon 85mm f1.2L, Canon 85mm f1.2L2, Canon 85mm f1.8, Canon 85mm 1.4L, Nikon 85mm f1.8, Nikon 85mm f1.4D, and the Nikon 85mm f1.4G. So there is loads. Now, trust me when I say I could go on for a long time, but I won't. So let's dive into what makes 85mm an absolutely amazing focal length and why it's becoming one of my favorites. Now, outside of this YouTube channel and making videos, I am a photographer. I'm always out just taking photos of absolutely everything, and that is why I bought this lens in the first place. Around 8 months ago, I made the decision to overhaul my gear, and this very lens was on the list from day one. And since then, it has been an incredible workhorse for portraits and some other photography projects that I worked on. But recently, I was packing up my bag and I was heading out to shoot some B-roll for a video that I was working on, and I saw this lens just sat there on the side, and I thought I'd take a chance. So I picked it up, put it in my bag, and oh boy, am I glad I did. First and foremost, because this lens has an aperture of 1.4, and for those of you that don't know what that means, all it means is that the aperture, or the opening in the lens that lets light through to the sensor of your camera, opens to f1.4, which is super wide. It means that this lens has incredible low light performance and that you get a super shallow depth of field. And what that means is that you can really isolate your subjects and they just pop off the background. It's amazing, honestly, it's incredible. What it also means is that when you're shooting photo and video, you can layer up your image. As you can see in this example, there's the subject of the shot, which in this case is the rusted out old car. But in the foreground, we've got this super out of focus element of the grass and bushes. Now, the reason for that is because it was shot on 85mm, and this lens just can't focus that close. It just can't physically do it. So it means you can just blend in those foreground elements with your subject, and I love that. I think that creating depth in your shots is a really great way to make them look more dynamic and to really kind of accentuate camera movements, and having the ability to control the depth of both your foreground and background with that in focus subject in the middle, that's a game changer that this lens lets you have in that respect. Now, one thing I will say is that this lens is not going to be for everybody. If you are someone who is shooting weddings or portraits or events, or you just want to get that nice compressed look for that B-roll for your YouTube channel, then absolutely yes. I highly recommend that you go online right now, add this to your cart, check out, and just never look back. Just walk off into the sunset or ride off into the sunset. Just do one of the things from like old Western movies where the credits roll and they go into the sunset, but do it with this. That would be my recommendation. If, however, you're shooting vlogs where that isn't the style you're going for and you're just gonna point the camera at yourself, something like a 16-35 is gonna be way more suitable, and the 85 probably just isn't gonna be the one for you. Now, just to wrap up, I wanna cover a couple of the downsides of this specific lens, the Sony f1.4 85mm G Master, because there is a couple of them, and I feel like I would be conning you if I didn't tell you the downsides and only told you the upsides. So here they are. While this lens does have lightning quick autofocus, the elements inside are fairly hefty, as you'd expect. I mean, just look at that piece of glass, it's insane. So as you'd expect, if you are shooting with this lens and you're recording audio at the same time, you are going to pick up some of that motor noise. So like I say, I use this pretty much for photos and for B-roll. So for me, that's not a problem because I do all the sound design afterwards. But if you are someone who's going to be using this with a mic on top of your camera, you are going to pick up the noise of the glass moving and the motors whirring. So manual focus might have to be the thing for you. And if you're not into manual focus, then this might not be the lens for you. It's also not the lightest thing on the planet. Again, expensive glass is heavy, and this is no exception. So if you are going to use it and carry it around with all your other gear, just be aware of that. It doesn't take up a lot of room, but it is quite heavy and it will do a number on your back. So that is about it from me, guys. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe while you're down there too. We just crossed 500 subscribers, which is insane. That's like half of 1,000 people. I know compared to some channels, that's tiny, but for me, that is a massive achievement. So thank you so much if you have subscribed. Thank you so much if you do watch my videos and you come back and you like and you comment. Appreciate the crap out of you guys. I don't know what else to say. Be sure to leave me some comments. Let me know what your favorite focal length is and why, because I'm always on the lookout for new lenses. Don't tell anybody, but I am. And with that, I am gonna go. Take it easy, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.